listening to the Why Boarding School podcast, broadcasting around the world. Join us as we promote independent boarding schools throughout the United States and Canada with our invited guests. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jeffrey Quebec.
Welcome to the Why Boarding School podcast. I'm Jeff Quebec, and today I'm joined by the Director of Enrollment Management and Admissions at Ridley College in St. Catharines, Ontario, Julie Cameron. Welcome, Julie. It's great to have you here today.
Hi, Jeff. It's so great to join you. Thanks so much for asking Ridley to come on the podcast. We're thrilled.
So back in 1889, Ridley College was originally founded as an Anglican-affiliated all-boys school. In 1973, Ridley began accepting girls. It became a coeducational school. In 2012, Ridley College became an international baccalaureate world school offering the IB diploma. Today, the school is not only one of the oldest private schools in Canada, but it's also the largest boarding program in the province of Ontario. Julie, perhaps you can start off by giving our audience a brief overview of the number of students at Ridley College, the grades you offer, where the students come from, etc.
Sure. Thank you so much. Absolutely. We just celebrated our 135th anniversary, so certainly a long legacy to the school. Ridley is, so we are located in St. Catharines, Ontario. And we are indeed the largest boarding school in Ontario. A lot of people would say, you know, where is St. Catharines? It's not necessarily a commonplace. What I do want to say to you is that, you know, we would be about 75 minutes from Toronto Airport, just go right around Lake Ontario, around the Horseshoe. We would be, our closest landmark is going to be Niagara Falls. That is technically in our backyard, maybe 10 minutes away. So of course, you know, your listeners all over the globe would likely know of Niagara Falls. And then we're close to the Canada-US border. So about 15 minutes away is where we are located. As far as number of students, this year we opened with 840 students in total. We absolutely, boarding is really what we do. So we like to, you know, we're a very international school in that we travel around the globe. The vast majority of our boarding students, though, are indeed Canadian and American. However, the school at 840 delivers the International Baccalaureate program. So we are an IB World School, continuum school, which really means that we teach from our youngest learners, our junior kindergarten, or our littles, as we sometimes call them, our primary years program. And then we continue into our middle years program. And so that is taught at Ridley. And then, of course, that then flows into the International Baccalaureate IB diploma, or the DP. A lot of people refer to it as the DP, known to be very rigorous, high academic standards for that particular program. However, I will say something that Ridley does offer as well is, you know, not everybody wants to do the full IB-DP program. We certainly feel, you know, that they're capable because of extraordinary teachers and attached to the curriculum. However, we also offer what we refer to as our hybrid program. The hybrid is actually credits for the Ontario Secondary School Diploma Program, but also IB certificates. And those certificates can be either at the HL high level or the standard level. So basically, that's our curriculum, you know, in a bit of a nutshell and a little bit of an overview regarding Ridley.
That's great. And so, Julie, can you maybe expand upon the curriculum and share with our audience what some of the offerings are at Ridley College?
Yeah, sure. So one of the things I truly I love about Ridley, so a lot of schools that do in fact offer the IB program, they may have course offerings. You know, I like to say to families, like, pay attention to that, because look in depth, like what offerings are there for your child. And so you know, if most IB schools, sort of their curriculum's this big, Ridley's is that big. We would be 150 different courses for families to be able to choose from. That is a massive selection and curriculum. One of the things that we love about that is, often Ridley, like I think an awful lot of our boarding schools would have, once they have the first child, the siblings will follow, something we love. And, we can be a very different school curriculum wise for, the eldest child, and then the next child, perhaps their passion is film and photography. The eldest child, their passions, they're headed into medicine. And then up comes the little one, and they're interested in engineering. So the great part about a broad curriculum in a school like Ridley truly is that we can serve the needs of each child individually, independently. And we have an incredible guidance academic team. We have 5 guidance counselors, long history and many years of counseling. You can't have really an IB curriculum if you're not going to have great outcomes, right? So our kids, obviously, when they leave us, they're looking to head into top Ivy League schools going around the globe, and our guidance and academic team are going to help them do that. But we really do believe the IB curriculum is viewed as rigorous, but I think, again, great teachers with advanced degrees, we really believe in small class size, we can help our students to be successful in that program.
So with regards to helping the students, can you talk a little bit about the academic support that is offered through the Ridley College Learning Center?
Yeah, sure. So we have an incredible learning center with, obviously our learning strategists. And for us, we're actually supporting a child's development and their needs from the youngest ages, right? So we've got strategists in our lower school, our middle school, and our upper school at Ridley. So we're very fortunate to be able to have that. Academic advisors, mentor teachers, extra support and tutoring with various levels attached to that. So what I will say, we strongly encourage our children to advocate for themselves, but we also have a very, I guess I would refer to it as really sort of a scaffolding that is there to help the children be successful. So maybe if they didn't advocate, we hope they do, maybe if they didn't, we're going to be identifying that. They're monitored closely. There is a team that is monitoring their progress and their success to ensure that we are there, right? I know a lot of people talk about, failure and the need for kids to fail and them learning from that. I'd like to think we're trying to catch them before we get to that point. So certainly the team is monitoring that on a close basis. But amazing resources. Again, I think another highlight for a school like ours, a big school, can come and does come with a lot of those resources, right, that parents are looking for. You're not told, well, we're going to send you here, you're going to head over to this, this place. It is really all on this beautiful 90-acre campus. So we're very lucky to have that for sure.
Well, it's nice to have all that support there while they gain those self-advocacy skills.
Yeah, so true.
Can you tell me a little about the visual and performing arts offerings?
Yeah, thank you. So, tied to our visual arts offerings, I would tell you that we are so fortunate. We just opened up an absolutely stunning building that is dedicated really to the performing arts, the visual arts, and with a large learning commons. This is a $40 million building, 4 years in the making. And so it just opened up this September 2024. And I'll tell you, the minute that those doors opened, like the students, whether it be athletes, whether it be, our kids that are thespians, everyone flocked to this building. It is quite a space for our students. But certainly we have everything. We have 2 beautiful theaters on campus as well. So everything attached to, visual arts, media arts, digital makerspace, woodworking, 3D printers, ceramics, every sort of band you can imagine, and music program as well. So again, it is, we talk about a broad curriculum. It's a broad school. Like the amount of amenities and facilities for our students and for our kids, they really flourish. It is really what they do. And so the arts, lots of schools might talk about being a STEM school. For us, we believe in STEAM, so you insert the A for the arts. Again, another central tenet of who Ridley is as a school.
Definitely seems like there's some amazing opportunities for the students in the arts at Ridley.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. There is.
Are there any special signature programs that are offered at Ridley?
It's a great question. I would, there are a couple, certainly I would say. We are a visible well-being school, and so what I mean by that is, we truly believe the primary aim of education is to develop a flourishing life for each one of our students, and so that is teaching them, that flourishing life is about the mind, body, spirit. So we very much we do follow a positive psychology, Dr. Martin Seligman, his theory attached to, positive psychology and positive education. So for us, we're really, really helping our students when they come to Ridley. Yes, academics are very important, but we're really teaching life skills and life skills attached to leading what we call a flourishing life. And so what we mean by that is really helping, they're young people and they're teenagers, right? And they're growing. And so we're helping them, really think about things like meaning, connection, relationships, achievement, how to bounce back, how to, a student might have a situation and they might catastrophize that situation. For us, we're really going to help them, give them the tools around a positive mindset. And instead of what's the worst case scenario that you're imagining, what's the best case scenario? What's the likely case scenario? And so our educators, our faculty and staff receive full training in all of that, where they are getting certificates. They're helping impart that to our students. So I certainly think that's one of our signature programs at Ridley. Students are really, really vested in that. And again, these are great skills from, teenage years into adulthood. I would say that another unique feature for Ridley, so I talked about, the size of our school. It's quite robust in our boarding program. In our upper school, which is grades 9 through grade 12, we actually integrate our day students into our boarding program. So that is quite unique and an amazing opportunity for our day students who will tell you that, they have friends from around the globe. Ridley actually has kids from 61 countries around the globe. Wow. We are very intentional by doing that. We really like to invest in new markets or being first in a market, if you will. Just finding kids, it blends and lends into the IB curriculum, certainly the global mindset. But we would just, our day kids integrated, with kids from around the globe, they would tell you that, they might live in St. Catharines or Niagara Falls, but they have a best friend from Rwanda. They have a best friend certainly from Spain. One of my new students coming in this year, I'm so excited about this young guy for grade 9. He's from Iran. I've never had a student from Iran. So
that's great.
Very excited about all of that. I think those are certainly signature programs. Our boarding program is just absolutely exemplary with 10 boarding houses in total and a junior boarding house. So not a lot of schools offer junior boarding. We actually do it from grade 6 to grade 8. And that is a designated house for those students, and we have 16 boys and 16 girls is full capacity for that. And then the remaining boarding program, of course, is tied to our upper school. But I would say those are a couple of good highlights or marquee programs, and probably athletics too. I mean, certainly we might chat a bit more about that, but we have some real high level athletes. They're headed NCAA, on a couple of signature programs as well attached to athletics.
Well, let's talk about that, Julie. Is every student required to play a sport each season? And also, what are some of the athletic offerings that Ridley has?
Yeah. So again, one of the things that Ridley truly believes in, as part of your flourishing life is that you need to be active every day. And so that doesn't mean that not everybody is going to be our 7'3" center prep basketball player, of course. But we are going to have young people that do and should move every day, right? So perhaps they're going to dance. Perhaps they're going to do yoga. Perhaps they're going to join, the walking or hiking club. So again, we do believe in physical literacy every single day for our students. We do think that is critically important because you're building you're building those habits for life for sure. So again, sports for life is absolutely there. There are competitive sports, and then there are elite level sports as well. So I'll talk a little bit about our elite level sports. So our prep sports, or we call it actually magnet programming. And so really why we call it magnet programming is if you've got a high level athlete. So for example, could be a prep basketball player, could be hockey player, male, female. Oftentimes, as you would know, Jeff, like parents can spend so much time with this child in the car, right? So school's kind of like, oh yeah, not in an independent school, but they're at school and then they're driving them here and driving them there, and hockey's 5 nights a week, while these kids are reaching their true potential.
And doing their homework in the car too.
Which is crazy, right?
Exactly.
Missing time and missing days. So, you get a school like Ridley, and these kids, everything is under one umbrella. So, they go to class, they're on ice. They might be on ice in the morning, they might be on ice after their classes for the day. If they need to see a sports therapist, right there on campus. They need doctor or nurse, again, right on our campus. So for our parents, instead of driving like these kids all over the place, it really helps ground them and give them everything in one location. So we call that our magnet programming. Rowing, another big one for Ridley. We're one of the few schools that actually offers rowing all 3 terms. And so most people are like, what? How do you do that? It's Canada. So we do have a beautiful indoor rowing tank, which
awesome.
is absolutely amazing. And of course, our ergs and, just the facilities that are, there is no doubt when I tour families, by the time we finish that tour of 90 acres of campus and the buildings we take them through, the look of awe is very apparent. So we are extremely fortunate to have facilities like that for our students. And I really feel that we encourage our students to try. Maybe in our junior program, they're going to start with squash, right? So we're really teaching them from an incredibly young age to build their best self, build the habits of mind, body, and spirit. It is really what we do in developing the entire holistic child.
This is great, Julie. So what we're going to do is take a quick break.
Sure.
We come back. We're going to continue our conversation talking about Ridley College in St. Catharines, Ontario.
Do you have any questions or guests that you'd like to see on an upcoming Why Boarding School podcast? You can contact us directly through our website at whyboardingschool.com. Now, back to our show.
Welcome back to the Why Boarding School podcast. I'm Jeff Quebec, and I'm joined by the Director of Enrollment Management and Admissions at Ridley College in St. Catharines, Ontario, Julie Cameron. And Julie, as we continue our conversation, perhaps you can share with our audience what's a typical school day like at Ridley College?
Yeah, thank you. So it would certainly, maybe I'll talk a little bit about our upper school program, our lower school and middle school. Our kids, so as I say, large boarding school program, also a day program, and many of our kids bus into Ridley, which is fantastic. So we have a little bit of a different schedule. I will say around the fact that we actually start classes a little bit later than maybe some schools do. Again, part of the teenage brain, part of the need for sleep. So we actually start classes so they might work out first thing in the morning. They're going to have breakfast. And then they're going to start classes about 9-10 in the morning. On Wednesdays, an exciting day for our students where they get a little bit longer of a sleep in, about another 30 minutes or so.
Okay.
And, they're going to have 2 classes in the morning. They're going to have a break between those 2 classes. So we're a term school. They're taking their subjects dependent on grade, right through. And then lunch. So lunch is always a highlight for all the kids. The provider we have is absolutely amazing. They're going to then have 2 classes in the afternoon. They might have assembly in there. They may have chapel in there. And so that would sort of be a typical day. Once their classes are done for the day, they're then going to participate in their respective sport and or activity. They might be part of the play. And then dinner, another highlight. I mean, I think when you look at teenagers and especially a lot of high-level athletes, the amount of food those kids consume is
So
quite,
true.
it's quite something. And then, so after dinner, they're going to go back to their respective houses. They might have a house meeting that night. We might have late night cafe. And then, but they are also going to have prep time. And so they're going to have prep time every evening. And so that can be done in our beautiful learning center. We like to think that, kids really, sometimes you want to learn at your desk in your room, quite honestly, but other times we really believe our kids flock to our learning center and our learning commons to work together collaboratively and get their homework done. And then they're going to pack things up and they're going to be, getting ready for lights out. We've got beautiful common rooms in each one of the house for them to hang out with, their roommates and or their friends attached to the house. It is a busy day. And the other thing Ridley does is we actually do Saturday programming. So that can be everything from volunteer service. You might be doing SAT prep. It can be, special interests that the kids are doing as well. So there's always things that are going on a Saturday morning at our school too. All kinds of activities in the afternoon. Sunday, I think, is a little bit of a quieter day and a regroup for the kids. But I often say this to our families, around the globe, when your child comes home on the break, whether it's the Christmas break or the spring break, when they come home, they'll be tired. Like, it's a rigorous program. And I always say to the parents, let them sleep for a couple days. They're going to pick it back up. But again, I think another piece we really believe in as a boarding school at Ridley is, parents don't pay the fees that they pay to have their children hang out in a local mall. Like, that is the opposite of what boarding schools should be doing. And independent boarding schools, that's not what we do. Those kids are busy. They're engaged. They're at various activities, whether, it's their roommate who's playing a hockey game locally or soccer matches, or we tend to be a bit of a marquee school around hosting various case events. And so much goes on in our particular campus, which is exciting. But again, a tired teen is a good teen. We like that.
Keep them busy, right?
We keep them going. So
Julie, let's expand upon the weekends a little bit. So you mentioned some of the, the programming on Saturday and such.
Yep.
So what are some of the other activities or events that may take place on campus or maybe even trips off campus?
Oh, for sure. We
weekends.
Definitely, we absolutely would host both of those. So certainly, whether the kids are maybe on Sunday, we have ski club. Maybe they're headed down to Ellicottville to ski for the day, and they absolutely love that. It's always fun to watch first timers, right, get their skis on and learn this new skill. And these can be kids from all over the globe who've never put their feet into a pair of skis. We could with our beautiful NHL-sized ice rink, maybe they're going to learn to skate. We might be going to the local movie theater. We do have various long weekend trips. So Ridley does offer a couple of options on long weekends for our boarders. And so that can be trips that we have planned, perhaps to Mont Tremblant, perhaps they're headed to New York City. So we do plan a trip like that. We do also, some might want to visit with family and friends during that long weekend. And then also some might just need that time to decompress, to start to get some extra prep done. And then we're going to have local things for those kids, whether we were just doing something on the weekend with the Special Olympics kids, and then they're doing a barbecue. They might be doing their volunteer hours in the local community. So again, really, really so much choice and options for kids to choose from. But we don't like them to be idle. That's for sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Julie, you mentioned earlier the excitement of the students, of course, when it comes to lunchtime and dinner time. What are the meals like at Ridley? Are they served sit down? They serve buffet? Are they required? How does that work?
Yeah. So a couple of options attached to meals. So I will say, basically, when the kids come in, it's a huge, beautiful, beautiful dining hall. And the kids will come in, and so they can go through cafeteria style and be served their food. And then there might be, for example, a smoothie bar. Like, we always have the lens of kids that are busy athletes as well. So they might have, protein smoothies. Then they're moving over to everything from, French toast to fresh fruit to yogurts to granola, but hot, cold, every option you can imagine for these kids at every single meal. One thing we do also, I think some people might be surprised, if our day student, for example, who's not a boarder at Ridley, but again, integrated into the house, let's say they're at rowing practice, they want to come in and have breakfast with the boarders. Like, we do not charge for that. Like, they are welcome. They are part of our community. Snacks are always, made by our pastry chefs. It might be yogurt and berries. So that's between classes. These kids need to eat a lot, right? From a mental standpoint, not just physically. Lunch can be everything from, the pizza oven to the panini grill to salad bars that you just can't imagine, hot foods, at least 2 soups as well. Snacks again in the afternoon, full meal again in the evening. In our dining hall, it is sit down. Our students clear their own trays. But I will say very much, a community involvement around all the meals and in the boarding houses themselves. The kids love coming in there, and there's such a wide array. And special, if there are dietary restrictions, certainly all of our chefs and our nutritionists on campus is going to know about that. So, it's halal. It is, if a child is vegetarian, all of those options, vegan, they all exist at our school. So again, an awful lot is available for these kids. They eat well. I will always remind our parents of that.
Well, that's important, right? As you mentioned earlier, it's really important.
It really has to be, for sure, and it helps them flourish. Again, if you're happy, if you're well cared for and looked after in all of your critical needs, you're just going to do better, right? You're just going to do better in school and enjoy the experience that your parents have given you.
And good food certainly adds to that.
It does, yeah, it does.
So, Julie, how about dorm life? What's dorm life like at Ridley College?
Yeah. So we have 10 boarding houses in total. We have one that I mentioned earlier about our junior boarding. And so each one of the dorms has a head of house. Often that is someone with their family. Their home is actually attached to the boarding house itself. And then we would have an assistant head of house. We would have residential life teams that are supporting the kids. So there are always adults present to support the kids. It definitely has. Each of our houses have beautiful, and I would encourage anybody to go on to our virtual tours. We have all kinds of virtual tours on our website of the houses, of the athletic facilities, you name it, it's there. But I will say, in the houses themselves, then the common room, you go into any one of their rooms. Typically it is 2 students to a room, 2 desks to a room, and then 3 lockers and an additional desk for the day student that our international boarders or domestic boarders are attached to. So it gives them sort of that local grounding, if you will. It helps them make friends locally, but there's healthy house competition. So all of our houses are named, and they compete against each other in all kinds of activities through the balance of the school year. And then there's a huge award ceremony at the end of the school year. But it is a lot of fun. They are well loved, well cared for. Certainly, I say to parents, when they choose to have their child boarding at Ridley, they might meet someone from the admissions team, but they give us their greatest asset, right? And so it's truly up to us to help those kids grow, succeed, celebrate achievement with each other. It is really, I think it's so important in everything we do. We really, really value the investment that parents make in independent education, but the boarding houses at Ridley are quite unique. And again, that integration with our day students as well, they love it. They really do.
So in addition to the house parents, is there also an advisor system at Ridley?
There is, yeah. Our upper school kids do meet with their advisors on a very regular basis. So a couple of times a week, they're sitting down with their advisors, and those advisors they will work with the kids. So the grade nines, there's a group of kids cohorts, and then same thing, grade 10, 11, and then obviously grade 12. But the advisors certainly can have a broad range, right? They can be attached to the houses, and they certainly, I'd say for the most part, are faculty members, but they can be staff members too. Many of Ridley's leadership team members are also academic advisors. They're advisors for these kids, and they're vested in their well-being. They, social, emotional, academic, and then they really are helping guide them through, as I mentioned earlier, that PERMA-V framework. So just so interesting what our kids will be involved with. But that connection to an adult and really feeling like someone is very vested in me is certainly important to us as a school.
It's nice that the advisors are the faculty, staff, and administration. It's a combination. It's really nice.
They really are.
So would you say, Julie, is there a typical Ridley College student?
Yeah, you know what? I've been at Ridley, for quite some time now, and I want to say to you that I think, sometimes schools will use terminology around mission appropriate, which is fine. I think for us, we like to use terminology mission serviceable, and the reason we use that is that we feel, not just the countries we go to, but our kids are diverse, right? So, maybe schools would say, well, that's a Ridley kid. Well, yeah, but there's lots of different types of Ridley kids. So I want to say that, academic standards, sure, absolutely. There's a baseline that we're going to look for, and depending on the grade that they're going into, and, character reference checks, academic reference checks. All of those sorts of things are really important to us. Every single student is interviewed. So our youngest, a little hard to interview a 3-year-old, but I will say, we certainly bring them onto campus. They experience the day. We're watching them. We're looking at their interactions. We're meeting with their family. So honestly, I think I would say to you, a child that is curious, looking to do their best, a student, why do you want to come to Ridley? What is it you're looking for? How can we help best you succeed? And so those answers are really important to us. We want kids that really want to experience perhaps new things. Other kids, they might be on the track for, they know in their mind, they certainly, I'm going to be a hockey player, and that's great. But we're going to help round you out, and we're going to make sure that all of those things, if in fact maybe you aren't going to make the NHL, what else do you have in life and to help you be successful? I really, I love actually to like to find differences and something that's unique and special about a child, because I think that's what they bring, right? Like the IB curriculum and, the curiosity, the learning, I specifically I recruit kids from the Middle East and from Africa. And when I look at that, and I look at these kids that come from all across the continent, like they're teaching us, right? There's things we're learning about them and about their culture, and again, that's a great thing for all of our kids. So I wouldn't say to you, absolutely, that's a Ridley kid, and they all kind of, they look like this, they act like this. They don't, I think we try to be a very intentionally diverse campus. That works well for us. I think that's a great part of what Ridley is. People will come and tour the campus, and they're like, wow, your kids they're fantastic, they're polite, they're engaging, and I think they certainly feel that from the adults in the community too. I'd love that you admire the buildings, but I really hope you choose our school because of the people, and that's from our students, faculty, staff, leadership. That's really what we hope to convey when we get the chance to meet with our families, for sure.
And certainly with all those differences, everyone can learn from one another.
They can. They do.
So are there any cool traditions at Ridley College that may be unique from other schools, or perhaps there's that one tradition that you hope always remains part of the school?
Well, I think I guess the one I would reflect on is probably Snake Dance. Probably not
Okay.
the best name.
Yeah, yeah. Sure. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
but
curious. You sparked my interest.
you got to watch the video. It's quite something. But what I will say, so Ridley's colors are orange and black, and so this is really a student-led. It's really like a school spirit night, and it is at night. It's out on the campus on amongst the boarding houses. They have a massive bonfire that is all set up for these kids. They have the prefects that come in, and they're carrying. They're truly, I swear, there is fire departments nearby, but they do have lit torches. They come in. The music is blaring. The kids are just going crazy about this spirit night, right? And so everybody is dressed up in orange and black, and the houses are out chanting each other, and it is quite like I get goosebumps as I think about it. Because it is something that happens every single year. It's been happening, for such a long period of time. And people are like, you guys still do that? Oh my gosh, it was one of my favorite nights. It was one of my best parts. And then I think the other part, is our incredible chapel on campus. Anytime alumni come back, they're like, can I see the chapel? Because that's really the place where we gather and we learn more about each other, and there's prefect conversations, and it's really about life lessons and teenage life lessons, but it's the most beautiful space. Again, please look on the website on the virtual tour and check out our chapel, which is 100 years old. It is absolutely extraordinary. And I will say that when the alumni come, they're like, please, can I get into the chapel? So it has such deep meaning, right? And so I think, again, long-standing tradition for our school.
It seems like the Tiger Pride is alive and well.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I really, really do. It's a culture and it's a community that, again, inclusive, welcoming. We want people to have a true sense of belonging when they come to Ridley, and we're very fortunate to be where we are. I think there's so many great independent schools across North America, and for every single child there is a best fit. There's and I would encourage them. I'd say explore that. When you're seeking out an independent boarding school, please go see 4 and 5 boarding schools. Please talk to parents, talk to students, because you're going to get that sense. You're going to get that feeling, because I think what we do as independent schools is extraordinary for our kids. But again, what resonates with you and your child, that's really the most important thing.
Well said, well said. So before we talk about admissions, Julie, is there anything about Ridley College that we didn't discuss today that you'd like to mention?
Gosh, I want to say, I think, Jeff, it went fast. So I'm like, oh, did I cover everything? Did I cover everything that I really want to? I think we did. I think, well, maybe I didn't cover a couple of different, like our Our co-curricular program, I talked about our academic programs. Co-curricular programs as well, everything from, Model UN. We have 75 different choices for kids.
Wow.
So
That's impressive.
It's a lot, right? And here's the thing. This happens often. Kids are like, but I want to do that and that and that. It's like, we want you to try it all, but you can't do it all right this minute. So we're going to space it out. So, whether it's DECA, whether it's Model UN, whether it's women in leadership, the clubs and activities, like that choice is quite extensive for our kids. And again, we encourage them to try it all, right? It's really what it is all about. But we're very proud of our school. We're so proud of our graduates. Our kids head into, our IB, we had a student with a absolutely perfect score last year. We've got kids that head into Oxford, to Cambridge, Harvard. We're very excited about all the big Ivies that they get into. And again, it's a testament, I think, to the work our kids put into it, our teachers, but also, our guidance team, helping them navigate what all of that is and the respective deadlines. It's just, it's quite a community. It's one I have been so honored to be a part of, for the past 14 years.
If someone's interested in learning more about Ridley College, and how might they go about starting the admissions process?
Yeah, thank you. So I would certainly encourage them to reach out. So on the website, typical inquiry form, and or you can go straight to the application form. The portal is great. It'll tell you all the documents to upload. I think the best thing you can really do is, fill out the inquiry form. I absolutely have I have a large team, which is amazing because I think what we're known for being is very responsive in a timely manner. So, if you've taken the time to fill out any of that documentation, you can expect a member of our team to be in touch with you right away. And so they're going to do that, upload into the portal. Everyone's going to have an interview and or be invited for spending the day on campus. Campus tour is critical. So again, the virtual tours are amazing, and people go, your virtual tour was great, but boy, until you come to campus, there's nothing like it. So I would continue to stress that for them. We will help you navigate through the process so that you can know an outcome or a decision, sooner rather than later. We do fill up fast. I will say that I'd encourage people to. So we have rolling admissions, unlike some of our some grades. We have rolling admissions, so we'll get you a decision as soon as we possibly can. There are certain, certain categories, maybe upper school, day, grade 9, that has an actual deadline date because we have so few of those spots. But again, be in touch with the team. We have officers from around the globe with a multitude of languages to serve our various parents as well. But again, as you go through it, do be in touch with us, and we're going to help you get all of it done right and navigated properly. So we appreciate that you are interested in learning more about Ridley College.
This has been great, Julie. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And it's been nice to learn more about Ridley College and, of course, share it with our audience. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jeff. It's been a pleasure being here. Have a great afternoon.
Awesome. Julie Cameron, Director of Enrollment Management and Admissions, Ridley College, St. Catharines, Ontario.
Thank you for listening to the Why Boarding School podcast. We look forward to you joining us for our next episode. Please remember to subscribe to the Why Boarding School podcast and help us spread the word. Until next time.